God's will is some ominous thing that's going to crush us. Let me ask you this. We're broken little people. What is your will for the people that you love the most? Don't you want them to be well? Don't you want them to be whole? Don't you want them to be beautiful? You want them to be happy? You want them to be full of life? You want them to be close to God? That's our will for the people that we love, and we're only so small. God's will for us is not to crush us. It's, like we said, it's to bring us into his own beautiful life. He's not interested in getting into a battle of wills. And if you've ever been in a battle of wills with somebody, you know how hard that is. And that's not his desire for us. His desire is to bring us into the deepest parts of his heart and to speak life to us, to bring us to life, to where the areas that we're sick, the areas that we're sinning. Because what? St. Julian of Norwood says that when God sees our sin, he sees our pain. There's a reason why you sin and the way you sin is because it's serving a purpose. It's serving a strange purpose in our life, and it has deep roots. The sin is up here, but the sin has deep roots that go down here. There's a reason why we're doing it. Why? Because we're in pain most of the time. And we're confused, and we're struggling. So when God sees us, he sees the sin that's breaking his children, and his desire is to heal us from the very roots of our being, so that we become fully alive. Fully alive. And that is, my dear friends, this is what we're going to take over the next couple nights especially. This is what Lent does, okay? So when we talk about the things we do during Lent, prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, we're actually Jewish traditions that we've incorporated into our own faith, okay? They actually have a healing element to them, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow night. So what prayer does, when we take on the discipline of prayer during Lent especially, and at any time really, but prayer heals our relationship with God, where we're broken in our relationship with God. No, he's not broken with us, but we're broken with him, okay? Fasting heals our relationship with ourselves, where we're divided within ourselves. So like St. Paul says, we don't do what we want to do, and we do things that we don't want to. We're kind of, confused unto ourselves. Fasting helps heal this, and almsgiving, the gift of money or time, right, heals our relationship with others. So it is not too late. We've got a few weeks left during Lent. It is not too late to kind of reassess what we're doing and saying, is it doing something because to do it, or is it actually leading me to healing? Is it leading me to wholeness, to integration? Because this is exactly what God is doing in our life. He's making us, that's what holiness is. He's making us whole. And we see that, in the Gospel of Luke chapter 7, where Jesus sees, and he heals, and he restores. Because every healing, the one we heard about yesterday in the Gospel, the parable of the prodigal son, every healing has to do with bringing people back into communion and relationship. He doesn't ever just to heal. And I know for a long time, I've been on a journey, I've been in religious life 20 years, but like I said, I grew up Catholic and I had never fallen in love with God. And I went to church every Sunday. My mom made us go to church every stinking Sunday. Like my brother and I go to church every Sunday. I'm sure none of your parents, you never experienced that with your teenage kids. Okay, so we'd be camping in Oregon. We'd get in the middle of nowhere. My mother would find us a mass to go to. We're like, are you serious? You found a mass? Like, there's no cell phone service out here. Like, how are you doing this right now? And she's like, we're Catholic. We don't take a vacation from mass. And my brother and I are like, oh, fine. We can hardly wait for this, right? So we sat in the back and punched each other, which she appreciated a lot. But I never fallen in love with God. I didn't know anything about the healing power of God. I didn't know how he comes into our life. And so when I entered religious life, I had a very radical conversion, which I'll tell you about as the nights go on. But I didn't understand how God comes into our life to heal us. And the only thing she has to depend on is her son. And now this woman, her son has died. And I can only imagine that she's probably like at her wit's end. Thinking to herself, she's probably devastated, she's probably missing her husband all over again. And she's probably wondering, how am I going to take care of myself? What am I going to do? We've all been in those situations where you're just like, where she's saying to herself, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And I can imagine it's very loud, it's very chaotic, it's very messy. There's probably people crying and wailing and all this kind of just scene happening. And out of all the people in that story, all the people probably shouting Jesus' name, shouting for his attention, he sees the widow. He sees her. And he comes right up to her. And I don't even know if she knew who he was. But this man comes right up to her and he gets right up into her face. And I would imagine just how Jesus is. He probably put his hands on her face and he probably said, when he said this, he probably put his hands on her face, but he said, woman, don't weep. Don't weep. And she's probably looking at him saying, do you have any idea what's going on right now? Do you have any idea what's happening? You know? And what does he do? He leaves her and he goes over to the funeral procession. He stops the funeral procession, completely disrupts it. And not only does he stop it, he goes and he puts his hand on the coffin. He puts his hand on the dead boy, on the dead man. Now as a Jew, now he's ritually unclean. He's touched what is dead. And that's what Jesus does. He comes into our life and he touches what is dead. Why? To bring us back to life. He stops the procession, touches the dead boy, touches the dead man, and he speaks to the dead man and he says, young man, I say to you, arise. And that young man sits up and he begins to speak. And I'm like, Luke doesn't tell us what he says. I'm like, man, what did he say? Like, I want to know what he said. And Jesus says, he gives the boy back to his mother. What does he do? He reunites them. And at that moment, the crowd loses their ever-loving mind. Can we just say that right now? They just completely lose their mind. They say, a prophet has risen in our midst. God has visited his people. And amen, he did it. Amen, he does. And amen, he is right now in your life and my life. And we all have parts of our hearts, parts of our lives where we have something dead inside. Where we say to ourselves, you might be sitting here and you're 70, 80 years old saying, my life is pretty much over. Like, what more could God do? Oh, he could just bring you back to life and raise everything from the dead because that's what he does. Because see, nothing is outside of time for God. Nothing. A couple last things for you. You and I live in what we call chronos. We live in chronological time. So our lives unfold moment by moment by moment. So right now it is, say, 8:05 in the evening. It's Monday evening, 8:05. Okay. So an hour from now it'll be 9:05 Monday evening. Tomorrow evening, when we're here together again, it'll be 8:05 and it'll be Tuesday evening, right? So and we'll be able to look back on our day and say, 24 hours ago this happened. See, our lives unfolded in chronological time. You see, God doesn't live in chronological time. God lives in what we call kairos, which is outside of time, which is what we call the eternal now. So we are present to God now, at every moment in our life, forever. It's kind of hard to imagine, but imagine this. So we're sitting here now, and we're present to God. He sees us now, however old you are. You are also present to God now, as you will be 20 years from now. You are present to God now, as you were when you were 5 years old. You are present to God now, as you will be the day you leave earth, you leave chronological time, and you enter into kairos yourself. You are present to him, and he is present to you in every single moment. Which means this. There is nothing in your life, there is not one thing in your life that has ever happened to you that God cannot heal. Because God is present at every single moment. Which means there's always hope. Always. Not one thing, not one situation, not one person is beyond hope. Because God is present there always. So what in your life, if you were very honest, do you need God to touch in your heart to bring back to life? Maybe you have an addiction yourself. And maybe it's an addiction where you said to yourself, okay, I'm not going to look at that anymore. Okay, this is it. I don't mean it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to look at this. I've got a block on my computer. I'm not going to drink that. I'm not, and you mean it, right? You mean the heck out of it. And what happens many times? We go back to our addiction, right? Because the roots are deep. And we say to ourselves, is there any hope? Yes, there's hope. Because God is alive and well and comes to heal us. I want to show you a little video clip of and she is speaking about, from the book of the prophet Jeremiah, the story of the potter and the clay. It's very apropos that we sing that this evening. But I want you to notice two things. I hope you can hear it with the sound, but I want you to notice two things as you watch the video. I want you to notice, number one, I want you to notice her hands. She's going to tell you the story as she actually creates a pot and she tells you the story. But I want you to notice her hands. And I'd like you to notice also the difference between the two vessels, the one that she makes in the beginning and the one that you see her remake toward the end. Okay, here we go. So God spoke to Jeremiah one day, and he said, go down to the potter's house, and I'm going to talk to you there. So Jeremiah said, so I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he brought a work on a wheel. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the potter's hands. And you know, sometimes that's how our lives feel. Something comes along in life and just totally messes up our life. I love the story of the potter and the clay, because he didn't stop there. As Jeremiah was watching the potter, so he made it again. It seemed good to the potter to make it. And then God began to speak to Jeremiah, and he said, cannot I do this with you? For as clay is in the potter's hands, so are you in my hands, O house of Israel. God was speaking to an entire nation at that time, as they had wandered away and turned to idols, and their world was falling apart. Yet God was saying to them, if you just turn over yourself to me, I can remake you again, just like the potter. He was saying that to a whole nation. How much more could he say that to us as individuals? So let me ask you, could this clay ever fix itself? So why is it that we think that we can fix ourselves, or that we have to fix ourselves or make things right before we come back to God? When in reality, we never really can fix ourselves, not really. And all God wants us to do is just turn the mess over to Him. And just turn it over to Him, and so that He can put things back together. Because see, He's the potter. He's really good at that. Did you notice? Did you notice how gentle her hands were? That she never punched the clay, she was never ripping out. She just gently guided it as the clay, and it was almost as if the clay formed itself as she gently guided it, right? So just how gentle her hands were. And you'll notice that this vessel is about twice as large as the one that she started creating in the very beginning. It's a totally different vessel. And I love it. She's like, don't we all have those moments in life where something comes along in our life and totally messes up our life and just crunches the clay? And don't we have those moments? And she's like, what does God do? God's not asking you to fix yourself or get yourself together before you can come back. Could you just turn it over? And He says, I will remake you. I will remake you. I will remake your marriage. I will remake your family. I will remake you. I will remake your memories. I will remake all that is broken in your life. I will remake it anew. So maybe as you're listening this evening, I've covered a lot of things, and there's just a lot to think about. And I don't know, my dear friends, kind of like what is in your heart, right? If I could bring my Rembrandt sketch up again. I don't know what is in your heart. Where do you want Christ to come into your life? Where are you sick? Where is there something in your life? What do you have in your life that you desire God to come and heal in your life? So if we're just for a few moments, we're just going to pray for a second. And I just want to invite you, and if you want to close your eyes, you can, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just going to ask the Holy Spirit just to speak to each one of us. So just ask you, Holy Spirit, at this moment, you who live within us, you who dwell within us, you who are the love between the Father and the Son. I ask you, Holy Spirit, just to bring to mind for all of us, what is one area of our life where we desperately need your healing, Lord? Just to be very honest. Maybe it's a memory that you haven't thought about in a long time, or something that feels small but just keeps coming to the surface, whatever that is. Just Holy Spirit, I pray that for each one of us, you would bring to mind, what is the one thing where we need God to heal us? What's in our hearts? And as you think of that one thing, if you could imagine yourself kind of holding it out in your hands in front of you, and just kind of looking at what that is. And that might be really hard because it might be something that you feel ashamed about, but that's okay, because God is not ashamed. So would you be willing to kind of just, in your mind, hold that out in your hands in front of you, and just kind of pay attention to what that's like? Let me just ask you, Jesus, if you would just stand before each one of us. And as you see us in love, you see us in the places that we hurt. You know our whole story. Lord, I just ask that for each one of us right now, what do you wish to say to us about that one thing in our hands? What do you want to tell us about who we are to you? If you're willing, my dear friends, and if it seems like it's too risky, that's okay too, but if you're willing, would you be willing just to give the Lord whatever's in your hands right now? And maybe it can be scary to let go of it. Maybe you've been worrying about it for a long time or been preoccupied about it for a long time, but would you be willing tonight in a new way, where God is making all things new, just to entrust that one thing to Him? What is that like to give it away? And if you're willing to give it to Him, He's grateful to receive it. And He looks at you with such kindness and reverence. And He's going to take that, He's going to place it in His heart that is pierced wide open for you. And just watch Him do that. He gladly takes that for you. And then He's going to say something to you. So Lord Jesus, what do you want to say to each one of us right now? What do you want us to know about your love for us? What do you want us to know about you? Lord, I thank you for this evening. I thank you for this journey that we've begun. And Lord, I pray that you would tenderly watch over your children. Open their hearts to you, to your kindness. I pray for new hope to be born in them. And I pray, Lord, even as they sleep tonight, as they go about their day tomorrow, that they would hear you in a new way. I pray, Lord, that you who have begun a good work in us will see it to completion, that you would open our hearts about our stories, open all the chapters, Lord, and give us the courage to face them with you, who make all things new. And we entrust ourselves to you as we pray. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and shall be, world without end. Good Saint Joseph, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So tomorrow night we're going to take a step deeper into how God transforms us, how He heals us through forgiveness and mercy. And we're going to encounter some more beautiful art and just Christ in a new way.